Second video. Um, some of you may know, some of you may not know that I've been, for the most part, a lifelong martial artist. And I have black belts in three different disciplines: karate, jiu-jitsu, and aikido. And I'm about to be promoted again, by an associate of mine. It's been a long time coming. But anyway, that doesn't, I'm excited about that, but I'm also very humble. Um, I was also a police officer for 15 years, which means that, much like many of my colleagues, um, I've been in a lot of fights. I've been in a lot of fights. And I have used martial arts technique before. But understand that when you're in a fight, especially if you're not in fights constantly, and even if you are to a fair degree of volume, you don't have a lot of what's called fine motor recruitment. You don't have a lot of fine motor skill. So, and this applies to every martial art that I can think of. Nobody's really safe, not even my disciplines. There's a lot of techniques that you can't fucking use, man. You can't. I would invite you to try. I mean, you could maybe do a modified version of whatever technique it is that I would call into question, and I can go into details if you like. But, like, for example, where I study Aikido, I've used Aikido in real combat. I've used Aikido in matches with other martial artists. Well, I would argue that was even more difficult at times because they were skilled, very skilled, and it's harder to get something on somebody like that. But in a street fight, you're so ramped up because it's unpredictable. There's no rules. There's no ref. There's no preventing his buddies from jumping in on you. You don't know what's going on, so it's a very scary fight or flight type of experience, and you're going to be so nerve wracked that, for example, there are techniques in Aikido that I would never attempt because I just know, like, that's bullshit. That's not going to work. That comes from an antiquated era, an older era, that maybe it was applicable then. And the other thing is, Aikido as we know it, for example, isn't what it used to be when it was Aikibudo or Aiki Jiu-Jitsu before that, where it was very severe. It was very rough. The idea being that, kind of like catch wrestling, that if I got a hold, if I got a lock, the objective wasn't to make you submit. The objective was to snap your fucking arm in half, or your foot or finger or whatever. So when I teach people, I have an obligation to train you and prepare you the best that I can for actual life. And by the way, the world out here doesn't give a fuck if you're a woman, child, man, disabled, doesn't matter. You are indiscriminately going to be attacked. Understand that. But it's not just exclusive to Aikido. I'm not just going to pick on that. You BJJ guys, for example, you think you have the most all encompassing martial art on the face of the earth, and I've got news for you. You don't. I've trained with a lot of you, and I've rolled with a lot of you, and I respect you and your skill and your ability, and I respect BJJ for the most part. The part I have a hard time with is this overall sense of arrogance that a lot of schools have. Like, you've been trained, like the Ohio State Highway Patrol, for example, that you are the creme de la creme, that you're the elite, and nobody could ever do better than you. And if you believe that, you need to be fucking humbled, because goddamn, I've seen you guys try to set techniques up that takes like an hour. And you've got these weird, funky ass names for it. Like, when you're in guard, you've got 8,000 guards. No, not in reality, Bubba. Not in reality. You don't. I know you like to think that, but you don't. You know, can you pull that shit off in real life? Maybe, or maybe you're going to be getting your head fucking bashed into the ground while you're laying on your back. You need to know what you're doing from that position, sure, but understand that you don't have time to, I got to set up New York and I got to go to mission control. I've heard all these terms, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? Just go to the fucking lock, man. Go to the choke, whatever it is that you're doing. And you guys trying to set up these techniques, Meanwhile, you're eating knees. You're getting your fingers jabbed into your face. You're getting fish hooked, whatever. Pissed on. Who knows? Who fucking knows, man? And the thing is, I'm going to say this for every one of you, all of you martial artists out there, no matter what style, because I've been around a lot of you, and a lot of you I respect. But there's a lot of you that I don't. I may like you, but I don't respect your ability because, motherfucker, you ain't never done it. You ain't never pressure tested, as I call. And Lenny Sly, if you've watched his channel, Rogue Warriors, go there and check him out because he's raw like me. And the fact is, you've never tested this shit under a trial by fire. You've never done it in real life. None of you fucking know what you're talking about. You have no idea. And until you go out and do it for real, we don't have much to talk about because I've done it. I've done it. I've proven myself. I know what I can do. And it wasn't always easy. It was never easy. Never easy. I mean, you try putting cuffs on somebody that's hopped up on coke or meth, maybe has hepatitis, who knows, and they're biting, kicking, screaming, spitting. They've got strength and endurance beyond measure because they're high. They've been in a lot of fights themselves. It's nothing new to them. And it's fucking exhausting and it's scary. I've been kicked, punched, bit, you name it. And most of you haven't. Most of you ain't done shit outside of your little point fighting tournaments where you're just fucking around. You don't, and you masquerade around with each other, jerking each other off like you're hardcore when you're not. Okay, so that's the reality of it. And I'm not condoning going out and getting into fights. All I'm saying is, well, you know what? Maybe I am. Because I'd love to see some of you actually try to defend yourself. Because a lot of you just get your ass handed to you. And your ego would be deflated and you'd be humbled, and you should be. And then maybe you'd start training for real. And it would no longer be about, inflating your ego and having all your minions surround you in your dojo. And I could name names, but I'm a little classier than that. Not going to do it, but you know who you are. So as always, until next time, fight, fuck, feed, sleep.